Move his mouse. I have one.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to do. Yeah, there we go. Shortcut keys and it wasn't working. Let's see if this works now. See if it'll still go get it. Yeah. Alright. And so now it has no problem retrieving that because one was a get and one was a post, and so it could differentiate between the two. So.
Except if they're all one.
But it, oh, did it go?
Yeah, we don't have our ID on there.
Oh, you're right. It didn't. Oh yeah, well, because we're not posting. Yeah, now it went to the get instead of the post. Yeah, so it did what it was supposed to do. Yeah, I was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." It didn't.
Yeah, it didn't retrieve any data. That is why.
Well, I wasn't posting. I didn't ask it to post, so I was getting data instead of posting data, so it just went to the get. And if I was if I had a way to submit on this, well, yeah, I'd have to do I'd have to adjust the view. We'll do that when we do views where we actually control how we're going to submit the data and things like that. So, all right, but so get and post are the main ones that you need to be familiar with.
So just for clarification,
yes.
The reason that you got this page, even though you have your ID in, is because the request that you send to the server is a GET request instead of a POST request?
Yes.
And you're saying that you define the requests or
Well, the GET is the
actions.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You define those methods somewhere. Like how does the server know what requests you're making? Like HTTP GET versus HTTP POST, or
You mean like when it's sent?
yeah.
Okay. That comes over in your request object.
Okay.
And so when your URL makes a request, when your browser makes a request, it sends the URL and it creates a request object that has the information. The most of the time that I'll actually see it and paying attention to it, have you guys ever done AJAX requests? You can specify specifically in the method, like whatever your method is, but you also do it like in forms. You can specify what actual method you want it to call, and so that becomes a part of the request object.
Is the browser just doing it for you in this case?
Like you mean right here we did? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So well, yeah, and also, and the routing knows because it's just the default to go to the get. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I'm sorry. I still don't understand why. Like, I mean, if you put the HTTP post there, does that have no effect on anything?
Well, it does on something that's actually doing an HTTP post to the controller, because basically it's like it sees, okay, I'm doing a post. Let me find one that matches this one. Okay, I've got one with the attribute of post. There we go. That's the one I want. Well, the browser is actually just doing a GET.
Okay.
So the browser itself is not doing a post. So it's just doing a GET. So it sees that, it's like, oh, I've got one that's a post, one that's a GET. Well, forget that it has the ID. We'll just get the one that matches the attribute or
So
the
the
type
top
that I
one.
want. Yeah, so it would get the default contact, which would just be a GET.
Okay.
So like later on, whenever we do some more specific things with like the views and whatnot, you can actually tell it whenever you make a request to a controller, you can tell it what type to do, whether to do a post or a GET. And so if we were doing that, then and we specified post, then it would certainly pull up the one that was the post.
Yeah, it would go to this one down here. And throw our ID in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before I go forward? Yeah, and it'll be a little bit easier to see after we do the views, because I mean, this is a third of it, so yeah, I know a little bit of it, and I don't want to run over time again, so we'll keep going, and then and this is the defining attributes, and I'm sorry, the attributes that you'll see these a lot, and they're just a way to associate your static information. So, and you can put them on your classes and properties, enums, and methods. But this is what it's going to look like here. With that's what your attributes look like, and we use them a lot for like validations and things like that. But this is how you specify which method your action is supposed to respond to. So and I just kind of threw that in to reference why we did that. Maybe should have done that first. I don't know. But the slide itself goes along well with what we're doing next, so it's jammed in there in the middle. So, but that's what these attributes are. So that's how it defines it. So, have y'all used those before ever, or anybody? No? Okay. No. Okay. Well, maybe you will in your project get to use those. And I'm probably going to upload the project Monday night. I think I'll wait till Monday to upload it because until we go through the model and view, there's really no, I don't expect y'all to be able to do too much of it. But anyway, but yeah, you do have a project for this class. Everything else will kind of be handled inside class time. But all right, really let me grab that off there. So yeah, here's our attribute. Now, the next thing that we talk about is the request types. So with your request type, actually, let's take a break since it's almost 6. We'll take a break real quick and then we'll talk about request types when we get back.